I'm Dr. Nancy, your medical celebrity doctor, and this is Dr. Nancy Knows, the talk show that brings awareness, inspiration, and motivation to many communities across the country, uniting our nation, bridging the gap of disparity. Dr. Nancy Knows can be watched right here on this network, drnancyknows.com, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And for all you podcaster listeners, we are on many of those platforms as well. Dr. Nancy Knows brings that awareness to all of you all through not only my 25 years of experience in the business, but through guests that are experts in their field of industry. And you know what? Sometimes we bring celebrities on the show as well. Today's show will not disappoint. We have Beverly Brown in the house today. Okay, she's a powerhouse, powerful woman, entrepreneur, not only just locally here, but nationally. She is the CEO and founder of Creative Consulting Consumer Services. She also has a Dreamster Academy. Beverly is impacting many, many individuals' lives in her circle of influence and beyond. Beverly, it's so nice to have you on the show.
It's so good to be here. You know, I've been excited about being on your show, so thank you so much for having me.
You know, you have been a solid rock of a person. I met you when I first moved to the Valley, and you have always been the same. True, authentic, supportive, caring, transparent.
Thank you so much. Are you talking about me?
I am, and everybody will share the same sentiment.
Oh, thank you.
I follow you on social media. I listen and comment and look at the comments.
Yes, you do.
Everybody just has so many wonderful things to say about you.
Well, I really appreciate that, Nancy. And you know, I feel the same about you as well. When we first met, we had such a wonderful time, and our friendship has just grown over the years, and I've grown to appreciate what you were about. You know, it's just amazing the things that you're doing as well. So I appreciate you being there for me too.
Well, you're welcome. And you know, we're helping each other, and that's what it's all about. People helping others, and hand up, and advice.
Yes.
Nurturing.
Yes.
Motivation and inspiration. And that's free at the end of the day.
Yes, it is.
You're a best-selling author.
I am.
3 books under your belt and a 4th one. Let's talk about those.
Yes.
The first book is Empowering Women to Succeed.
Yes, it is.
That's a bestseller, girl.
It's a #1 bestseller, written with Sisterhood Extravaganza by Miss Pat Gillum, co-authored with beautiful other ladies that just have phenomenal stories. You know, when I wrote my story and I read theirs, I told them, you know what, I think I'll keep mine because they were just that amazing.
That's really wonderful. The second book is You Can Do It, Whatever It Is.
Which I self-published myself. I said, let me do this, and I'll always, my thing is, if nothing else, I'm an encourager. And I'm always encouraging people, you can do it. And then if they kept saying, do what? I was like, whatever. And that's the point. You can do whatever it is that you want to do in life. If God is giving you the vision, trust me, He's going to give you the provision and the way to do it and the know-how to do it, and that's what you have to do.
That's so true. And talents and gifts. You may not have all of those talents and gifts, but when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, there are so many individuals that will just drop out of the sky and say, how may I be of assistance to you?
Exactly.
Because I see you're trying.
Exactly.
I see you. And how may I help you accomplish that goal?
Collaboration. That's the new thing. And that's the whole thing about it. All your gifts don't come at once. You get them along the way. You just start with the first step, and before you know it, God has blessed you with the next step. It's like, I didn't even know I could do this. Like I guess we'll start talking about the things that I'm starting to do. It's like I didn't intentionally say that I would do all these things. All I did was start with one step. And the next thing I knew, it just grew and grew and grew.
You know, we share similar experiences, and our faith is major in our life.
Absolutely.
And the gifts that you were born with, you think that's all to it, but it is not. There are levels to this thing called life. And if you push yourself, remember, gifts are not meant for you to keep. They are meant for you to give away. And the more you give, the more you get.
Exactly. The thing is nothing is about self. It shouldn't even be about self. If it's not involving somebody else, then you're doing it wrong, or something's wrong with that picture. It has to involve somebody else.
Your third book, The Graduate of Dreamster Academy.
My most proud possession, and I have a Dreamster Academy like we'll be talking about. And those are, oh my God, 12 wonderful authors that decided to tell their stories after they graduated from my academy. And it was just amazing to see, even though I got to know them in the academy, when they wrote something in the book, it's like, wow, I didn't even know that thing had manifested while they were in the class. And they're just 12 wonderful authors that just poured out their hearts, that came to the academy one way and left in such another way. And it isn't just gratifying when you see somebody that you've helped along the way, to see their growth, to see what's really inside of them just come alive. And that's my passion, is seeing their passion just develop.
Well, there's so many nuggets in that statement as well. And, you know, the only competition that an individual have is themselves.
Thank you. We could have said that at the same time. That's
and
it.
If you don't think you can, you won't. But if you think you can, you will.
Absolutely.
And it's individuals that you align yourself with that can just sprinkle little nuggets of goodness and see talents in you and trigger you to just be inspired to grow.
Exactly. And what I've really found out, encourage somebody. All it takes is encouragement. Somebody just needs to know that they're more than what they think they are, and that you can see them different at a higher level. And it's most everybody that I come in contact with, I already see them 10 years down the line, like, oh my God, I see this. It's like, I don't see this in myself. I say, yeah, but I do.
You're a leader, and leaders lead, and they can see talent in individuals well before they themselves can.
Absolutely.
And if they are willing to trust that, go with that gut feeling, that small, still voice, and ask that to be nurtured every day. So that you know the people that are in your life are supposed to be there. Every
day. And I mean every day. Wake up with that prayer. It's like, God, who is it that can come into my life that can help me, but more or less, who can I pour back into? Because it's always give and take. Can't be just me, me, me. God doesn't work that way. He's using this vessel to say, who can you bless? And that's the difference of, like you said, being the leader, growing with what you have, having the spirituality of saying, okay, what is this gift? Why do I have it? What do I do with it? And my biggest thing is when they're sitting on it and they're not developing it. And that's where I come in as a dream stirrer.
That's awesome. And you know, that it's that individual that has to see what you see in them and are willing to take that chance, because fear can be a rate limiting step as well.
The limiting, because there's so many levels of fear. Absolutely. And fear of different things, fear of not having the money, fear of not having the success, fear of what people will think. It's the whole fear factor that comes out, and it's in different levels and in different stages as well.
Your fourth book, it is forthcoming. Dare to be different. Really, honestly, we are unique in our own way. I personally don't fit in a box very well.
Not at all.
No, and it's our differences that draw us to one another, not as a competition, but wow, you inspire me because of all the different things that you do that I don't have gifts and talents in. And now how can we work together?
Yes.
So to help me get to where I'm going, and me the same way for you.
Exactly. And it's got to be reciprocal. That's what people fail to understand. We as a people, you got to reciprocate. You know, show me what you're doing, and then I can show you what I'm doing. Let's see how we can grow this together. You know, the separatism, you know, that, I like to use the word irk me, but yeah, it irks me. You know, to know that, hey, you're trying to hold on to something that somebody else needs. Why would you do that? You know, you have to spread the gift. You have to get people that come into your life to say that, you know what, I don't know how to do this. I'm afraid to do this. I don't think I'm good enough to do this. All you have to do is instill something in them and say that, you know what, you can do whatever God has placed in your heart to do, period. End of discussion.
Well, I'm inspired. I hope many of you are. She's an inspirational speaker, also TV show and event host, mentor, actor, two-time breast cancer survivor.
2 times, yep, 2011 and 2013. And I just want to emphasize to people, I have not had cancer for the last, 8 years now. And I did not do chemotherapy. I did not do radiation. And I did have a left breast mastectomy, but I just want to let everybody know sometimes you can make the decision not to have chemotherapy or radiation. And it was because I researched. I researched the stage I was in, and it's not just the 3 or 4 stages people it is, there are stages within stages. So it's best to educate yourself when it comes to cancer, and everybody should do what's best for them. But I just want to let them know I've been cancer-free without chemo nor radiation.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
and you're
you.
right, it is a personal choice. And, you know, me being a doctor, I advocate for my clientele and empower others and my
Yes.
patients to seek information out for themselves
Yes.
as well, so that they are well informed to make decisions that are specifically right for them.
Yes, and it has to be for you.
And it takes discipline. Discipline, making things a habit, never really overindulging in things.
And that's the part. Excessive anything is bad for you. Even excessive good stuff is bad for you. So it's a matter, like you said, being in moderation. I hate to say it, but I kind of eat whatever I want to eat. I'm from New Orleans, first of all, so hey, that just kind of came along the way. But I do it in moderation. And if I'm going to overeat, guess what? The next couple of days I'm going to undereat, because I know I've done what I wanted to do to fill myself up, to make me feel good. And then after that, I know what I have to do to get rid of it as well.
It's discipline in all aspects of your life, actually.
Absolutely it is. It carries through for everything. Health, everything.
Your mentor?
Yes.
Who has poured into your life and has been instrumental to, you know, have you develop into this beautiful being that you are?
Believe it or not, it's my daughter. I have one daughter. She's 48 years old, and to me, she doesn't know it, and she'll probably be shocked when she sees it, but she has been my mentor because she has taught me so many things, and it's been a blessing. But professionally, I would have to say Pat Gillum from the Sisterhood Extravaganza was definitely a great mentor for me. Dr. Will Moreland, Dr. Vernette Allen Joseph, you know, LaDanya, you know, is in my part of my Dreamster Academy. Some of my students are also my mentors. And then the most powerful thing, believe it or not, you can find mentors on YouTube. Things that you can sit and watch and actually have those people mentor to you. You know, of course, who talk about Michelle Obama, you talk about, you know, Oprah Winfrey as far as our professional mentors are concerned. And then I have a few more from Ohio. It's just different people in my life. And that's what happens too. They come in different stages and at different times that they need you, that you need them in your life. So the mentors don't always stay the same, but you get a nugget from each and every one of them.
So it's multifaceted.
Absolutely.
And you're never too old to learn and grow. I say always remain teachable and coachable. That's the key to success in life. No matter where you are, what it is that you aspire to do and be, we all have a role to play and to live your best life.
Yes.
And to share that with others.
Right.
It's so important.
And you hit on the big point, teachable, coachable. We're not all there. I'm one of them. I can speak for that sometimes. It's like, you know what? I want to do things my way, but you have to have somebody to come in and interject and say, look at this other aspect of this same idea. But how does it look if you do it this way or that way? And you have to be open to hear what other people have to say, even when you don't like it.
Now tell us, Beverly, how does individuals get a hold of you for the services that you provide? And we're going to ask you about your services that you provide, but how does people reach out to you?
Well, definitely my website, www.creativeconsultingdreams.com. Everything is there about my consulting, the Dreamster Academy, about my graduates, about everything that I'm doing. So that's one aspect. And then the toll-free number that I always try to remember is 641-715-3900, extension 1879, is a 24-hour line where you can just leave a message. If you're could be in any country or anything, you just want to call and leave a message, and I'll get back with you for that. But definitely my website would be the best thing to contact me with.
Thank you. Now, consulting is a broad term. So let's talk about the different types of consulting services and consumer services that you provide.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that about consulting being different. That's why I got the word dream steerer from. It's like, well, same thing as consulting. I think I do it on a more spiritual level, where I'm actually delving into what the dream and what the inner person has to say. And most coaches and consultants would see the same thing, but I know that's how I feel about it. So I got the name The Dream Steerer from a book that changed my life. It's called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson, and he's the same one that wrote The Prayer of Jabez, which a lot of people don't realize. And that book changed my life, and that's how I ended up with the name Dream Steerer. I couldn't have his same name, so I had to use my own. And the other part was, consulting, sometimes you can actually start doing things for people, which is what I used to do. I actually used to do everything for them. I'd go on their ventures, I'd go on their business, but God stepped back and said, no, you need to steer people in the direction that they need to go, rather than always doing for them.
So it's teach a man to fish and
there
make him fish forever.
Exactly. And that's where Dream Steerer came in. It's like you got to steer them towards their dreams, because I'm not a forceful person. You know, another thing about a coach, I think a coach says you got to do the 10 steps and jump high, and I'm like, ugh. And you know, the consultant have steps. With me, I go with the part as far as where your spirit is at the time. We're not all ready to do things at certain times, at certain stages. I try to feel that out. And I says, okay, well, you know what? You're not ready to do that. And for an example, I had one person that I actually had to counsel for almost 3 years before I could get her moving towards her dream, because she had so much stuff, family issues, things going on inside of them, and you can't move forward with your dream if you still have stuff that's buried that you're not addressing. It's just not going to happen. You'll get so far, but that step, that thing that you haven't addressed, will definitely keep you from going to the next level each time.
That's the leader in you, and it's customized for each individual.
Exactly, yes. There is no 1, 2, 3 method. I don't have a 10 steps, this is how you do it. Everybody, when I come in, I first send them what's called a discovery questionnaire. And it scares them to death. It's 5 pages of very, very intricate questions. And a lot of times I don't hear back from people once I send it to them. It's like, you tried to get me to say too much stuff. Well, you're either ready to face it or you're not. And I get that, but you're going to address it. And that's what I'm going to do. So when you're ready, they'll come. And then after that, I do what's called a vision plan instead of a business plan. Because then I'm going to listen to what you put on the questionnaire, and then we're going to consult about that. I'm going to translate that into what you said, and then give you a step-by-step method saying, you need to do this first before you can get there.
Well, this is quite different than an ordinary consulting business or firm. Again, it's customized, and
Yes.
I think that's where the country is leading in healthcare and just living their best
yours.
life. Exactly. It's customized wellness. Partnering, developing relations that individuals can really drop their guard down
Yes.
and confide in you to
Yes.
get them to the dream that they aspire.
Exactly, and it's about the comfortability. So many people, they'll say, well, I'm just afraid to talk to this person because I don't want them to find this out about me. It's not about that at all. If you don't feel comfortable about talking to that person about it, then maybe that's not the person you want to be with at the time. You got to be comfortable with it. And then, like I said, I commend you with the products that you have, the all-natural things that you do. It's catered to that individual. I'm sure you assess them, and you says, okay, you need to do this, this, and this for you. I kind of call it the A to Z factor. Visionaries always see Z, the big picture. Oh, God, I see this. And while I'm sitting there talking to them, I'm like at A. I'm like, oh, my God. We got to get A, B, C, and D done first. But we're going to get to Z eventually.
Absolutely. And it takes hand-holding and coaching along the way, and instilling and empowering as well.
Absolutely.
And building up of many years of brokenness.
Oh, you hit it. Many years of it. And that's what keeps everybody, and I say everybody, because we all have brokenness. If you've gone through life and you haven't had any brokenness, you know what, saint next to Jesus, that must be who you are, because that's the only person on earth that has gone without the brokenness. And then he was broken as well, my God.
So, the show is all to say, listen, you are not alone. There are many experiences that individuals have encountered, ebbs and flows, wins and learns. The ideal is, what do you take from it to make yourself better?
Right.
And are you ready to share your story? Because that's a testimony to others to keep them inspired as well.
Thank
Again, Beverly
you.
said it's not about selfishness.
No.
It really isn't.
Right.
And that's why it's levels to this thing called life. And living your best life is sharing, is caring, and letting people know that they're not alone.
Exactly, for sure.
So other ways that you give back, but you have another academy coming up. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. This is June. Not sure when it's going to air, but the next academy is August the 19th, 2021. It's 9 weeks of classes on Thursdays only for a couple of hours. This year I'm having it at the Forum in Chandler, and it's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And for those, what I did this year, I actually added a Zoom part to it so that people can now Zoom in from anywhere. You just have to be cognizant of the time zone that you're in. And this will be my first time doing it. I kind of tested it on my last class last year during COVID, which I did. I do have to say thank you to those students that showed up during COVID last year and managed to graduate 5 beautiful students even through that. And they allowed me to test the Zoom thing to see if I could do it. So now I'm ready to expand it. I hope to get maybe 40 people on Zoom nationwide, as well as about 25 people in class at the Forum in Chandler. And as we said, the Dream Stir Academy is a 9-week course to help you uncover, discover, and develop what God has already placed in your heart. That's what it does. It just helps you to get to that part that's hidden inside, give you the encouragement to go on to pursue your dreams, because then consultations are needed afterwards. I just want to break that part down that's needed to move you forward.
Well, sometimes you have to chip away to get to the core.
Yes.
To ignite something, right?
Yes.
And Beverly, you're going to get everything that you ask for.
Aww.
You know, because speaking it into existence and daily affirmations and believing that you can, and just stepping outside your comfort zone and testing the Zoom and now expanding your reach across the country. This is a national broadcast. Beverly's on the show in time for this to air, to promote what she's doing as well, to reach so many different people.
Yes. And I hope we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you also sit on the board of Overflow Missions. It's a nonprofit, so you just keep on giving.
Yes, I do. And one of my graduates is an Overflow Missions person. She's the one that's the director for it. She, her brother-in-law, and her sister-in-law, and a few other members are members of the board. But I just love it because she came with that dream already when she attended my class. And then after that, it's just been growing and growing and growing and growing. And it's not because of, I don't want to say because of me, it was because she had that already. And then she started taking steps to make it even better than what it is. So I commend, you know, Denise Anderson Carter for doing that with Overflow Missions. And I'm so proud to be a part of the board.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of your other services that I personally didn't even know. I mean, I know you're self-authored, but part of some of your services too also include like pre-editing, publishing, book printing. I know many of our viewers want to know because we all have a story inside of us.
Yes.
We have a story. I know that there's an algorithm of types of categories that allow, you know, for the success of a book to become bestseller and that sort of thing. But tell us some of the services that you do if individuals are out there that feel like they have a book inside them. How do they?
And I'm glad you brought the part up about, like you said, bestsellers and all of that stuff. I just want to just honestly tell you, if you have a book inside of you, just write it for yourself. For yourself, yes. You will be surprised how many times if you just put in writing what's inside of you on paper, get it edited, and that's the part I want to bring up too, pre-editing. And I say pre-editing. A lot of us don't even write the books because we're afraid of our English. We're afraid that we're not writing it right. Well, so what? Get it out of your brain first on paper. And like I said, some people are, you know, embarrassed about the writing. It's not about the perfection. It's about getting it out first. I love the pre-editing because I will take what you think is a mess and say, okay, we're going to read this, and now I will send it to a professional editor before it's published. But there's this process like I call pre-editing that really means a lot because it allows you to be comfortable to write the book however you want. Don't worry about paragraphs, indentation, spelling, English, or anything. It'll all be cleaned up so beautiful to the part, and then the book can be produced. Get it out your head first.
Well, this is amazing though, right? Because again, it's fear.
Yeah.
And all you have to do
Writing.
is jot your ideas down, and
Yes.
Beverly can put it in a format that's ready for an editor to read
Publish.
and publish. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take for an individual to write a book? I know that there's different variables with that, but
Try 3 hours, try two, I don't want to say 2 minutes. 3 hours, it could take 3 days, it could take 6 weeks. Right now, I'm birthing that book. My last one, Dare to Be Different, is I'm on 3 years because when you're writing a book, it has to just come from the spirit and it has to flow. So I will just give you that example for the Sisterhood Extravaganza book. I was down to the wire. You know, Pat's calling me up, Beverly, when are you going to get the book? And I'm like, oh. So I actually took one night and I sat down and I said, you know what, I just need to get this book out of me. And I went in on a zone that I don't even remember. I think I started like at 9 o'clock, and around about 11:30, I came out of the zone and I had written the book. And the caveat to that, I had written something I had no intention of publishing. And it came out, it's like, I'm not gonna write this. I didn't mean to write this about this in the book. And it came out and I went back and forth and saying I didn't want this in the book. And it was about me having 2 abortions. And I'm just gonna put it out there. And I said, no, God, I'm not gonna tell this to anybody. And come to find out, there were 2 people that immediately called me after the book had published that had experienced that, and they say it set them free. So my fear of putting out my story, my shame, helped clear somebody else out.
That's awesome.
Because it's not about me.
It's never
It's about them. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, goodness. So Beverly, I mean, it's such a joy to have you on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy that you agreed, and you
so you got to be on my show.
I am. Thank you. Yes, for sure. So tell the viewers, listeners again about your upcoming academy.
Yes.
And how they can access it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's creativeconsultingdreams.com. What I want to emphasize is that I actually have sponsors that are willing. Right now I'm up to about 7 sponsors to give 7 free students in this class. But you have to register to do that. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but the classes start August the 19th. Once you register, you will receive an email from me, and it will give you the information about the scholarship program, about what you need to do as far as answering the questions to qualify for the scholarship. And then after that, my payments are very, very, very low, I should say. I don't never want to say cheap. They're not. But you do have to pay the cost. It's $247 for 9 weeks, and it includes all of your supplies. After the 31st, it is going up $100 because now we're getting down to the deadline. So right after that, plus, I do want to say, Zoom is only $147 for 9 weeks to Zoom in on a live class to do whatever it is that you need to do as far as the whole setup being there, except that you just won't be there physically. So just go to creativeconsultingdreams.com, register there, and as soon as I get that, I send you an email back and we can start with any questions that you have as far as being on it. And if you don't qualify for the scholarship, then payment plans and payment terms are available to do that.
Thank you, Beverly.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, guys, it's not only what Dr. Nancy knows, it's who she knows. We'll talk next week. Bye now.